Welcome back to Go Again Gaming, and welcome back to round 3 of the league. That means absolutely nothing three. We have an absolute banger. We've been flying through these rounds. It's been great. I'm your voice of the league, Ian, and today in the 1-1 bracket we have Sofia Romao from Brazil taking on Pascal Weiler from Switzerland. Just how international this league is. Pascal is, as always, representing Guardian. I wonder if my tokens have arrived or if he's still going to be using gold foils to represent mites. And Sophia is on Kano, everyone's favourite smug ass. Now, I know Guardian historically does not have the best time into Kano. And I'm pretty sure that's all I need to say about that. Good luck, Pascal. Let's see if you can survive until Sophia makes you explode. With that, we'll see how quick it is. You can probably tell by the length of this video, this is not going to be a long one. And over to the gameplay we go.
The league that means nothing is brought to you in part by the Sigillit Games. Go and check them out on Etsy. This is one of the altars that you can come to expect from the Sigillit Games. Shiny foil treatment to the back of Flesh and Blood cards to really spice up your battlefield. Make sure you go and check them out when you can and use the code GAG4ALTS to get 10% off your order. Cheers, Toby. Let's get back to the tournament.
So it looks like we have Sophia going first, which is just infinite bad news for Pascal. Infinite bad news. She gets to filter her hand, doesn't actually have to Kano anything, and gets to stick a card in Arsenal if there's something decent. Gets the first tunic counter, the whole 9 yards. Pitching in open the floodgates, activating Kano, banishing, open the floodgates. It's a hell of a card. Card so good, it's restricted in Living Legend. And now we're going to double pitch, floating 2, activating Kano, banishing an Emeritus Skull. I haven't seen that one in a Kano deck in a little while. And we're just going to leave it at that. Not let Pascal filter anything at all. Just banishing 2 of our blues, 2 of ether, as it were. Pascal struggling to get this life total on board. Thanks, Pascal. Gonna make my life easier going forward. Now Sophia is simply going to draw up. Pascal, she's not going to draw up before Pascal gets to make a might token. Hey, Pascal, you have a might token. Holy God. Maybe my post finally made it. We're going to draw up, lose our might token. Let's see, are we just going to swing the hammer for the big bonkin and just be careful? Throwing out a money where your mouth is. So our next attack gets +3 and you may wager a gold token. Pascal, in his over-eager nature, slightly cramped camera work today, normally has a much wider setup. And then we're going to pitch this chokeslam and send out a Nothos. Continuing to float 2. We're wagering, so we're paying 2. So the attack now has +1 on overpower. So we're sending in a Nothos for 11 overpower and wager, and that means we get some gold. I wonder if Sophia just takes the 11 and just sends it back. So a Nothos for 6 plus Betsy's 1 plus 3 plus 1. I think we might have missed a point of damage here from Pascal. Suddenly, I don't think it's going to matter because when Kano kills you, Kano just kills you. Yeah, Sophia taking the 7 points of damage here. Maybe it should have been 8. I am not entirely sure. That is just my assessment. It may, in fact, have needed to be 8. Pascal gets his gold. Don't think the wager Text is going to be super important beyond letting Betsy force damage through. It might be better off keeping the resources floating so that you don't die. Hard to say. Sophia on her turn activating Kano. Contrary to popular belief, sometimes it's just better to activate Kano on your own turn. And Sophia just going to use Crucible to amp a Voltic Bolt for 6 points of damage here. Pascal with AB3, which is what I would call like a safety blanket. It doesn't actually do a whole lot, but it makes you feel comfortable. Because you could have AB 50 and Kano, if they decide they're killing you, you're just dead. If the cards line up, that's just what happens, baby. Pitching to a gold, draw a card. Allows us to pitch another card to send an Othos for 6. And this is one of those. I could summarize the game plan of Guardian in this matchup very simply. Stay disciplined and swing the hammer, idiot. And we have decided to throw out a Command and Conquer floating 2 resources. So this is threatening a pummel. But this could also be the end of the game if Pascal chooses to pummel this Command and Conquer. It all depends on whether or not Sophia blocks. Thinking about it, there's an open. And are we committing another card to this block? And an Oasis. Pitching this Fate Foreseen. I see. So we have 7 covered. Gaining a life. Does Pascal have the pummel? Are we stripping Sophia's hand and arsenal? Doesn't look like we have the pummel, so we are just going to let it ride. Just bluffing. Sophia taking up Tunic, looking at the card in hand. Pitching Will of Arcana to activate Kano. This will amp our next spell. Looking at the top card, are we going to play it? We're just going to leave it there. As is sometimes the correct decision. Might be a blue, might be a power card, who knows? But I imagine our arsenal is a good card because we are protecting it. Now let's see what Pascal can do here. We're just going to send in Arouse the Ancients, revealing, pitching a blue, revealing 2 blues. So 7 go again. 7 vanilla. No big deal for your average Kano player. They might just take the 7 and see what happens. And then we're just going to follow it up with an Enlightened Strike for 7. 5. Go again. Keeping a card in hand. So we're really just trying to throw out as much damage as possible this turn. Because we got to get them dead. Because if we don't, we die. Taking 5. Going to 18. And then in comes Big Bonk Hammer for 6. Blocking 3. Taking 3. Probably got a potion in hand. Yep. Sophia playing an energy potion. Drying up. And it's time for Pascal to see how careful he wants to be because every potion that goes into play makes this infinitely more dangerous. Depends on how hard he wants to commit here. Pitching 2 blues, attacking with a bet big. We're going to wager floating. With the 2 floating, we can also choose to activate Betsy. So the vigor, might, and agility. The vigor is the only one that actually does anything for Kano whatsoever. So we're sending in a good old fashioned 9 overpower. 1 card in hand. So we're going to activate Kano and see what the top of the deck says. Do the cards speak to Sophia? Is the heart of the cards with her? That's a good start. An Ether Flare. Blue Ether Flare. Knowing that the most Pascal can prevent on any given Ether Wildfire is going to be 3. We're going to block 3, which means we'll be taking 6 points of damage here. Going down to 9. And Pascal gets all 3 of his tokens. Let's see if Sophia wants to do anything before the end of turn. Gold Might Vigor on board. Sophia deciding whether or not to play this Ether Flare. Mostly just used it to probably get a card out of hand that she didn't want and banish a card that doesn't really do anything from the top of her deck. But again, could be free damage, so who knows. Going to Sophia's turn, we're going to pitch a Blazing and an Ether Flare, floating 1, activating Kano, seeing what we have on top. We have one of our many news apps, Overflow the Ether Well, coming in for 2 here. On hit, if it deals more than 1 damage, Sophia gets 2 resources. Looks like Pascal is going to pitch to this one anyway. Pitching a red here would probably be useful. It would be just enough. Yeah, pitching a red here. Same way, using Findel Spring Tunic might have been enough to prevent the surge there. And would still leave you with something with the Enlightened Strike. Anyway, we're going to go to Pascal's turn, where he is going to gain +1 from a Might, and he's going to gain a resource from a Vigor. 3 cards in hand, card in arsenal. Got to be careful. This is how you lose games of Flesh and Blood. When you think you're in a good spot and you just... Yeah. Now I can see why Pascal got rid of the E-Strike. He is sending in another one. Coming in for 6 go again. When you see the Kano player start picking up that tunic, you know it's go time. Yeah. Sophie is blocking with that tunic. She is planning on using that resource and planning on setting off the fireworks here, floating a resource with the tunic and taking the damage down to 4. Pascal, pass the turn. For the love of God, pass the turn. Going up to 2 and throwing Spinal Crush. Oh, no. This is bad. This is Fine Dog. This is man Moments before disaster. Sophia pitching Potion of Deja Vu. Looking at the top card. Gaze the Ages. Pretty good. Looks like we might be on to something here. Pascal has no resources. So anything Sophia does cannot be prevented. Should go into traditional combo or combo backwards, where you start with the blazing and end with the blazing. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, some people will know what I'm talking about. Storm Striders has been activated. So, Pascal, you should be afraid. That means that card in Arsenal is getting played right now. Sophia taking her time to think, making sure she has enough resources to do everything she needs. So important. Another Potion of Deja Vu, activating Crucible of Aetherwave, 2 floating. So we are amping 1. Activating Kano. With that activation on the stack, we're going to crack the Ragamuffin's hat. Draw, put a card on top. We let our Kano activation resolve, I imagine. Or do we? Crack our energy potion. So Kano's still on the stack, I believe. Yeah, here comes the wildfire. Trigger nodes can respond to this with gaze. So wildfire is currently, we have nodes on the stack. Yeah, we are gazing the ages, which would get us another blue in hand. Or are we? Yeah, we're just planning it out. We're going to Kano, banish the wildfire that we know is there. Then we're going to gaze. So we get to see 2 cards deeper. And really, I think all we need is a decent spell here. Node's trigger for wildfire is still on the stack. Kano activation is still on the stack. So we're going to have, if we hit a decent zap here, we're going to have more than enough resources to deal lethal damage. Sophia doing the math. When your combo player is doing the math, you know it's bad news. Card to the top. Card to the bottom. Gaze to hand. Thinking about nodes. Are we nodesing? Crack the E-pot. So much thinking. This is why I don't play Kano. I play decks that just do the killing. And I try not to think about it. So we're going to nodes. So this is 6 damage. Pascal is taking 6. And the general math on Kano is every point of wildfire is 5 points of damage at the end of the combo chain here. So right now, for example, blazing would do 12. Kano resolves, we get lessons in lava. Pay 1. Lessons in lava. Lessons in lava is going to deal 9, which is going to search the deck for any wizard spell. I imagine it's going to be, if we have one, a blazing ether. Yes. Then with the energy potion, we get to kill our opponents. Let's crack the E-pot. Go to 3. activate Kano, get our blazing, and we get to blazing for 1521 into for 30. Nice, quick, handy one here on the 1-1 bracket in the league. That means nothing. Pascal tried to get the game over, but unfortunately, you tapped out, son. You do not tap out versus Kano. You do not disrespect Kano because that is how you get blowed up. And normally, you don't want to be blowed up. Congratulations, Sophia, navigating a nice quick combo turn and providing us with a fantastic quick game. A little reminder that just because a game is quick doesn't mean it's not cool, doesn't mean it means any more or any less than the rest of the league. That means absolutely nothing. And here we are, all for the love of the game. Um, so, if you like the video, if you hate the video, if you are indifferent to the video, either way, like the video. If you don't like Kano, let us know in the comments. That's a great call to action there because nobody except for Kano players like Kano. Make sure you subscribe so you get to see all of the action, all of the combos, all of the fun, and all of the great games of Flesh and Blood from the League That Means Nothing 3 in your YouTube in notifications. And if you've liked my commentary, please let me know. You can find me on social media at finals_spirit on Twitter or finalspirit.bsky.social. I have been nailing that for weeks, and here I am screwing it up, probably because I'm recording this at midnight. That's all we have time for today. Sophia moves on to 2-1 in the league. That means absolutely nothing. Pascal drops to 1-2, and it is time for him to absolutely try and submarine his way into the top 8. But for now, I will just say goodbye, and I will see you in the next one.